Okay, this is by request a question from the chapter 1 to 3 review. This is chapter 2, number 3D, involves an inverse function. So what I have in front of me on the left side is parts A, B, and C. Part A asks to sketch the transformations in the correct order with proper vocabulary, state them. So here it is. I made a point to remind you that the K value has to be factored out. So there is a part in red. So -2 divided by 1/3 becomes -6. Okay. With that involved, the A value would be a vertical compression by a factor of half. All the Y values are multiplied by half. The horizontal sketch, the K value, is the horizontal stretch is by a factor of 3. Having a K value of 1/3 means I have to multiply all X values with 1/K. Horizontal shift, 6 right, that is my D value. That's 6. That negative represents a positive direction. And the vertical shift down is from the -1. That's a C value. I did a quick rough graph. This is my parent function. That's a vertical stretch. This is with the horizontal. And now we have the translations. And here are my domains and range. Hope that is enough. That will suffice. All right, let's talk about the actual question. Question first says, identify the inverse function, and then says, what's the parent function? They could look at the AKDCs for the inverse function, and then is there a relationship between the AKDC of the inverse function with the ones that I wrote here for the original f of x? First things first, let us figure out what the inverse function is. So I'm going to take the original function and bring back the value of y, because f of x is just another way of writing out y, but with function notation. I'm going to swap it because that is what inverse is. As a reminder, we are basically changing the location of the independent and the dependent variable. We're swapping the axes. My goal is to isolate y. So by algebra, or I guess reverse BEDMAS, you can call it, I am going to first add 1 to both sides, giving me x plus 1. Then I want to get this all alone because that has the y in it. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Oh, okay. And I'm going to, again, I want this all alone. So I'm going to first open up the bracket by square rooting both sides. Next, I want the y value all alone. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. And lastly, I'm going to add 6 to both sides, giving me this. My inverse function is going to be 3 square root 2 x plus 1 plus 6. Quick disclaimer, if you decided to try to do the inverse of this one, you would still get the same answer, but I can see how some people might get a little bit of hiccups when you are multiplying 3 to both sides. I think that's where I'm going. Yeah. Okay. So consider that. You can try it, but you are supposed to get the same answer. And if you're confused, please let me know. Moving on. Let's see. What is a parent function? It is clearly a square root function. What are the values of AKDC on the parent function? Well, let's do the comparison. I have a vertical stretch of 3. In other words, I'm stretching in the up-down direction. In the original function, I am stretching in the left-right direction. Right? So there's a relationship because it makes sense. The x-axis and the y-axis was flipped. So if I used to get stretched this way, then it makes sense that I'm stretching this way. Let's go to the k value. The k value is a 2, which means I am horizontally compressing by half. If I'm horizontally compressing by half this way, then it makes sense that when I flip it, it should be compressing in the up-down. And that's exactly what I see here. Vertical compression by half. I am moving 1 to the left. So if I'm moving 1 to the left, oh, there's so many arrows that if I'm moving 1 to the left, if I flip it, is the same as saying I'm moving 1 down. And that's what I have, 1 down. And in the inverse function, I am moving 6 down. So again, if on this axis, if I'm moving 6 down, if I flip it, it's as if I'm moving 6 to the left. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry. What am I saying? If I'm moving 6 up, if I flip it, it's like I'm moving 6 to the right. 6 to the right, which I see right there. Okay. Hope that clarifies. If you still have any questions, please maybe you can comment on the video itself or in our Google Classroom. Okay. Hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next one.